Chapter 1. The Observatory of Silence. The old observatory stood on the ridge like a half-buried memory. Its dome was cracked and jagged scar against the twilight. Its stairwell, which spiraled up into the darkness, was studded with years of wind and silence. The town people said it had been abandoned since before they were born, a relic of a forgotten budget. But for Darlene, it was a sanctuary. She climbed the stairs each weekend, a notebook under her arm, a flashlight dangling from her wrist. She wasn't the best student. Just last week, Mr. Kane had handed back her physics homework, a mess of reading. She was confused velocity with acceleration, and her calculation for parabolic motion was disaster. Science terrified her with its endless, rigid equation, its demand for answers she couldn't find. But there was something about the night sky that made her feel less small. It didn't demand answers, it just offered questions. She wanted more than anything to become an astronomer. But that dream always seemed like a star she couldn't reach. A distant, burning very star, too bright and too complex to understand. Still, she climbed. When she reached the top, the air was cold and dry, thus more than in the beam of her flashlight. The main instrument, a large refractor telescope, sat waiting, pointed toward the heavens. She brushed her hand across the lens case, then froze. A floating note lay beneath it. Said the will be lower than usual tonight. Seek it out. Its opposition was last month, but its orbital inclination makes the viewing spatial. Her heart leaped. She looked around the empty dome. The paper smelled of dust and age, but the ink back and firm was fresh. Her hand trembled as she uncapped the lens. She pointed the telescope toward the southern sky, using the finder scope to locate the dim, yellowish stars. She forgot the main lens. Saturn hung there, huge and near, like an eye. She could see the Cassini division, the back gap in its ring. For the first time in her life, she felt that the universe wasn't silent at all. It was waiting. Chapter 2. Lesson in Light. The next week, another letter appeared. This time, it described how to bend light using a glass of water and colored paper. Light is a particle and a wave, the note read. It travels in straight line until it passes through a new medium. This is called refraction. The change in speed bends the light. The amount it bends depends on its wavelength. Violet bends the most, red the least. Darlene followed the instructions in her kitchen. She filled a glass with water and placed it on a piece of white paper. She shone her flashlight through the glass at an angle, and just the note promised. A rainbow scatters across the wall. She laughed softly. So, this is how rainbows are made. It was nails long, not as an equation, but as an experience. Her teacher, Mr. Kane, noticed the glow in her eye at school. You look like someone who just discovered a supernova. Darren shocked, hesitant to share her secret. I found a note. It teaches me things I don't know who it's from. A note? He said. Amused, maybe it's from your future self. She laughed, but the idea lingered longer than it should have. Each letter brought new experiment. One taught her to measure shadows. Irritants measured the earth with stick and a shadow. It said, find the angle of the sun at noon here, and I will tell you the angle in town 50 miles north. You can calculate the earth's circumference. She did, and her answer was surprisingly close. She learned to chart the moon's orbit, marking its apogee and perigee. Notice how its apparent size changed. Some letters spoke of the beauty of mistake, how even failed experiments had failed. Others whispered about stars that died long before their light reached Earth, how looking at the Andromeda galaxy was seeing 2.5 million years into the past, and reached one end the same way. Keep looking. Chapter 3. Deeper Currents. The lesson grew more complex. One evening, she found a longer letter. The universe is not just what you see. Billions of invisible particles, neutrinos, are passing through your body right now. Through the entire Earth in silence, they are weakly interacting. Ghosts from the heart of the sun. Another note describes gravitational waves. Einstein predict them. They are ripples across space and time, caused by the collision of black holes. They stretch and compress the very fabric of reality. The universe shattered. Darling went to the library. She found books on particle physics and general relativity. The concept was staggering, but the note made her feel like poetry. Then a final paragraph on the last note. If time can flow, if gravity can bend light, maybe thought can travel too. That night, she wrote first reply. Her handwriting was shaky. She placed it under the lens case. Who are you? And why me? The next evening, a reply waited. Because you are still listening. Darling breath caught. Her hand trembled. This was no prank. This was something else. The letters began to feel alive, teaching her, comforting her, daring her to dream bigger. She told no one, not even Mr. King. The observatory became her second heartbeat. Chapter 4. The Missing Astronomer. A new note arrived a week later. This one more exciting than the last. Look to Orion. Inside the sword you will find Ep.4. It is not a star, it is a nursery. And new stars are being born. We need to focus carefully. She ran up the spiral stairs that night, her heart light with anticipation. She aimed the heavy brass tube toward Orion's belt, then down to the misty patch of light. She knew what the nebula. She reached for the fine-tuning knob to bring the stars into focus and found only A. The knob was gone, sheared off. The secondary love-focused knob just spun unless its mechanism jammed. Cold panic seized her. She couldn't focus. The star remained blurry, indistinct so much. It wasn't just a broken tool. It felt like her connection to the Fifth Whisperer, her secret guide, had been served. She left the observatory in tears. Desperate, she went to high school lab on Saturday, hoping to find miniature tools or a teacher who could help. The lab was bright, smelling of ozone and fall wax, a stark contrast to ancient, dusty observatory. Instead of a teacher, she found a young woman she didn't recognize, hunched over a piece of equipment that hummed with a low and green light. Can I help you? The young woman asked, not looking up. I have a problem with a telescope, Darling stammered. An old refractor, the focus mechanism is jammed. The woman finally looked up and smiled. I'm Lynn. I'm a university student, just visiting my old school, calibrating this spectrometer for Mr. Kane. She wiped her hand on a rack. An old refractor? You say? You don't mean the one on the ridge? You know it. Lynn's smile became nostalgic. Know it? I practically go up there. Our astronomy club picked up the primary lens years ago. It was his project. Really? Aries? Aries? Darren asked. The name felt strange on her tongue. Lynn nodded, her expression clouding over. Aries, he ran the club. He was bright and intense, utterly obsessed with that place. After graduate, he just disappeared. Disappear? Like missing? Darlene felt chill. No, not like a police case. Lynn clarified, lowering her voice as if sharing a secret. Just gone. Drop off the map. He got eccentric toward the end, starting saying he would find a way to speak through starlight. He had these wild theories, claimed the observatory was built on a temporary weak point and that big lens could be used to focus more than just like Lynn forced a small, sad laugh. We all thought he finally gone mad. It's a sad story. He was kind, gentle person, just got lost in his own head, I guess. Lynn found Darling a set of precision screwdriver, but her words had unsettled Darling far more than the broken knob. The name Aries lingered in her mind all night, an unsolved equation. She returned to the observatory, tools in hand, but she didn't go to the telescope. She went to the small, damp storage room under the dome, a place she was always avoiding. The smell of mildew and old photographic chemicals. She scanned shelves of cracked glass plate and old rolled up star charts tucked behind a heavy cabinet full of slide drawers. She found it, a thick leather book logbook is covered stamped with a faded silver constellation. She opened it. The handwriting curved, deliberate, and beautifully precise. Was just instantly recognizable. It was handwriting from the notes. Her pulse quickened. The book was filled with the observations, complex equations far beyond her level, and personal notes. She flipped through the page, seeing sketches of the telescope gearing, calculation on light refraction, and then her heart stopped. She found a page titled "Message for the Listener" tucked within word drafts on her notes. "Saturn will be lower tonight. Explain refraction. Use the kitchen glass is simpler. The moon orbit. Don't forget to tell them. Keep looking." These were his notes. Written years ago, she frantically turned to the last pages. The entries became more erratic, the math changing to include symbols she had never seen before. And then the last entry, there over a decade prior. The resonance is stable. The math holds. It's not just weak point, it's a conduit. I don't know if I can cross it, but maybe I can send a whisper back, a small echo, just to see if anyone is listening. Darlene sat back, the dusty book in her lap. The cold of the room seeped into her bones. The messages weren't from her future self. They were from the past, from a Brian, a lonely boy who had vanished into his own impossible territory, still trying to reach out from wherever he had gone. The fear of equations was replaced by a burning, profound curiosity. The whispers were not a ghost, they were from a scientist. Chapter 5, Equations for the Impossible. Inside Ariel's notes were sketches of spirals, mathematical curves, and phrases she barely understood. She saw equations she recognized from her library books, but twisted into new forms. Einstein, Rosenbridge, one page later. The math allows for it, but traversal is the problem. Equation, exotic matter. But what if the bridge is not spatial, but temporal? Another section was labeled temporal entanglement. If two particles can be linked across space, Ep.4 paradox. Why not two moments in time, two states of the same system link? The observatory is the system, the particle is the observer. Then Webb resonant thought. She stayed up reading by candlelight, her mind burning. He hadn't been trying to travel, he'd been trying to communicate. He believed that consciousness itself was a quantum event, capable of collapsing a wave function not just in space but across time, in the margins of a complex calculations. One sentence caught her eye. If consciousness exists outside of the time, then maybe we never stop speaking, only waiting to be heard. She whispered the words aloud. Then I can still hear you. The room answered with silence, but somehow the silence felt alive, buzzing with potential. She began writing again, not just to a no other, but to the universe itself. It felt like building a bridge, one letter at a time.
Chapter 6. The Resonance Hypothesis. The fear of formulas was gone. Now they were like constellations patterns that guided her deeper into meaning. She studied Arias's notes alongside her textbooks, translating his strange symbols into her own understanding. He spoke of entangled minds, two observers sharing one vision of the universe. The telescope, he said, was their anchor, the one thing that remained unchanged between them. When two people look at the same sky, he wrote, their thoughts might meet somewhere in between. Darren wondered if that was what had been happening all along. Maybe Arias hadn't disappeared at all. Maybe he had simply learned how to whisper through the stars. At the back of the logbook, one page was written in darker ink, shakier. Almost trembling. It works. I can feel someone listening. The bridge is weak, but it carries small things. Lessons, memories, hope. She checked the date. It was from the week he vanished. Darren closed the book. Equi. Her eyes wide with realization. He hadn't gone mad. He had found a way to be heard. And she was the one who heard him. Chapter 7. The Fluid Lens. Darren's dream of becoming an astronomer grew stronger. The fear of equations was replaced by a burning curiosity. She applied for the state science fair, using the concepts she'd learned from the mysterious letters. Her project was titled Modeling Gravitational Lensing Using Fluid Lenses. She'd moved beyond the simple glass of water. Using Arias's notes on refraction, she built a small rig. She used a clear acrylic, tank and slowly dripped glycerin, which has a different refractive index than water into it, creating swirls and distortions. She then shined a laser through the mixture. The laser beam bent, split, and sometimes even formed rings, just like the Einstein rings. She'd read about images of distant galaxies warped by the gravity of a closer object. Mass bends space-time, she explained to the judges, her voice clear. And light follows the curve of space-time. We can't see space-time, but we can see how light is affected by it. My project uses fluid dynamics to model how a massive object, like a galaxy cluster, acts as a lens for the universe behind it. For the first time, her parents looked proud. Her mother hugged her tightly. "You always had your head in the clouds," she said softly. "Well, maybe that's where dreams live. Darren's project won first prize." But at night, when Darren returned to the observatory, she wasn't satisfied. She wanted to know who Arias was, really. Was he alive? Was he lost in time? And deep down, she feared a stranger truth that maybe he was her, a version of herself, reaching backward through the years to remind her not to give up. Chapter 8. The night of Saturn's return. The calendar turned. The stars shifted. Darren had cross-referenced Arias's logbook with an astronomical almanac. He had been waiting for a specific event, a passing gravitational wave from a distant binary pulsar, one that would be amplified by the orbital resonance of Jupiter and Saturn. It was, as he'd called it, a Saturn's return. One night, the same alignment appeared again. Saturn low, the air heavy with memory and static electricity. Darren sat by the telescope, notebook in her lap, heart racing. "All right," she whispered. "If you're real, show me." She turned the scope towards Saturn. The view shimmered. It wasn't atmospheric distortion. Space itself rippled like liquid. The gravitational wave, amplified by the planets, was passing through the solar system. Then she saw him. It wasn't a clear image. It was a distortion in the light, a human-shaped shadow against the light of the rings. A boy's face, faint but clear, smiling through the distortion. "Arias," she breathed. His voice echoed, not in her ears, but in her mind, like a thought that wasn't hers. It felt impossibly, as though it was carried by gravity itself. "Don't be afraid, Darren. You found me. You found what I couldn't." Tears blurred her sight. "What are you?" she whispered. "A memory, a message, a possibility. I tried to send myself. I only sent my thoughts. I'm an echo, trapped in the resonance, but you listened." The image flickered, then vanished. The wave had passed. In the lens box lay a final letter. The paper was ancient, brittle. "Thank you for reminding me that science still has a heart." Chapter 9. The Long View. Years passed. Darren left for college, the terror of science a distant memory. She studied astrophysics, chasing equations across blackboards. She excelled. The equations weren't rigid, they were a language. She specialized in cosmology and gravitational wave astronomy. She worked summers at LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, listening to the echoes of colliding black holes, the very ripples Arias had used to send his message. She was trying to make sense of what happened. She was trying to build the math that could explain him. She called her thesis Temporal Resonance Information Transfer via Modulated Spacetime Metrics. Her professors called it boldly speculative. She called it a biography. She never told anyone the full story. How could she? A boy's ghost taught me physics. But she kept every letter, laminated and locked in a small wooden box. She realized the truth. Arias was not her. He was the one who built the bridge. She was the one who crossed it, carrying his legacy from the realm of madness into the world of science. He had needed someone to listen, and in doing so, he had created the very astronomer he needed. Chapter 10. The Arias Observatory. When she returned home, a celebrated astrophysicist, the observatory had been restored. Using funds from her first research grant, she had helped the town save it. It was renamed the Arias Observatory. During the reopening ceremony, she gave a small speech. When I was younger, I thought science was cold. Numbers and data, I was terrified of it. But then I learned that science listens, it dreams, it is the most human form of curiosity. It whispers back when you care enough to ask. Children stared up at her with wonder. A girl with familiar wide eyes tugged her sleeve. "Miss Darren, did you really talk to the stars?" Darren smiled. "I think they talked to me first." That night, after everyone left, Darren sat alone beneath the dome. The telescope gleamed, its brass polished, its lens restored to life. She placed her hand on the lens. "I made it," she whispered. "I became what I dreamed of." Outside, Saturn shone low again. She aimed the telescope toward it, half expecting, half hoping. For a moment she saw movement, a flicker of light. Then, just for an instant, she saw herself. A young girl, eyes wide with wonder, looking through the same lens years ago. The temporal loop, the echo, the vision faded, but her heart didn't race this time. It only smiled. Epilogue. Whispers across time. In the silence of the restored observatory, she left one final letter in the lens box. To whoever finds this, don't give up on wonder. Don't let the world make you forget how to look up. Science is not about knowing all the answers. It's about learning to ask the right questions. Even if you think you're not good enough, remember, curiosity is the only light that never fades. She closed the lid and stepped outside. The stars were brilliant that night, scattered like promises waiting to be kept. A gentle breeze swept through the air. Somewhere, faint and far, came a whisper that could have been the wind or the echo of a dream answered at last. The end.